I decided to do a book haul a lot sooner than I expected because I bought a lot of books. I guess we should get this started. So, my book haul video I planned on having is in 45 minutes long. I like to keep these short and just adding stuff to the collection. This first chunk, they all share the same theme, which you'll see. We've got The Coldest War by James Brady, a memoir of Korea. In Mortal Kombat Korea by John Toland. Breakout, the Chosin Reservoir Campaign, Korea, 1950. I got all these at an estate sale from someone who, looking at the stuff they had in their house on sale, was probably a Marine Corps veteran and maybe a Korean War veteran. Every book he owned was on the Korean War. Some of them I already owned. Some of them were crack pipe prices. Like, don't even get me started on some estate sales. Like, some estate sales are amazing, and then you have these ones where they're like the walking equivalent, and it's always a company. It's never when it's a privately ran estate sale. They're the walking equivalent of I know what I have, and it's like, okay, you do. Have fun not selling it. But anyways, I got these books because I've always been very interested in the Korean War. Like, it's the forgotten war. People just, it's never talked about. Like, one of my grandpas is a Korean War vet, and yeah, it's just so fascinating that 5 years after World War II ended, you have this war in Korea, and it's just incredible the level of destruction and the lives lost. And then, stuff like this, like the Chosin Reservoir, and the fact that those soldiers managed to fight and get out of that. Like, it's incredible. That's why I got those. Just more Korean War stuff. What I'll end up doing, which I tend to do whenever I pick a topic to cover, and by cover I mean research from my brain, just for fun. Um, I'll end up buying like a stack of books about it, and then I just the fire hose method, just all the information, and we'll see what manages to stick in my brain. Like, at the beginning of the year, one of my goals I'd had was learning more about the Gilded Age, and so I read a lot about the Gilded Age, just all at once. And so, yeah, I'll end up doing that with the Korean War as well. I've got 2 or 3 other Korean War books, and so yeah, I'll dig into them once I get to it. If you have any recommendations for books on the Korean War, please leave them in the comments. I would love to hear about them. Let's move on. So let's start with Frederick Brown, Space on My Hands. It's another short story collection from Frederick Brown. I love Nightmares and Keys and Stacks so much. No review is on my channel. That as soon as I saw that, I had to pick it up. Anytime I see anything from Frederick Brown, I will be picking it up. Asimov on science fiction. Very cool book club edition hardcover. Immaculate. Like, I think this bad boy is unread. And it's about Asimov discussing science fiction, the genre, the origins of the genre, how he writes, like ways to write science fiction and how it affects society. Like, it's just a collection of essays, and it's got like the dates of when he wrote the essays, stuff like that. All the way back to 1938. It's just fascinating. I love Asimov, and I love his takes on things, and this is going to be my first dive into his nonfiction works, so I'm very excited. We've got Highway of Eternity by Clifford D. Simak. I've read Way Station. I'm writing a review right now, and we'll see how it goes. He won the Hugo Award in 1964 with Way Station, and it's good. I happen to have read every nominee from 1964 completely on accident, other than Way Station, and so I think I will post a video about those and just kind of give rapid fire thoughts of each book, because I thought it was pretty interesting, but just by happenstance, I'd read most of them. And we've got Flashing Swords 5 Demons and Daggers by Lynn Carter. Well, edited by Lynn Carter. I wasn't going to pick this up because it's it's rough shape, like well, not rough shape, but not the best shape, but it's a hardcover book club edition. And the stories in it are what got me because it was only like $5. We've got Tower of Ice by Roger Zelazny, who I love. A Thief in Corianth by C.J. Cherry, who is also pretty good. Parting Gifts by Diane Dwayne, who I've never read before, so that'll be interesting. And Dealing with Demons by Craig Shaw Gardner. Never read any of his stuff, so that'll be good. And The Dry Season by Tanith Lee. And I've been very interested in reading Tanith Lee, and so getting a nice short story will be a pretty good start. Then we've got The Lost Swords Endgame by Fred Saberhagen, which I'm guessing is the last in the Long Sword series. One of the reasons I picked this up was it was the only book club edition in the Lost Sword series I didn't own. So I kind of felt obligated to get it. And it was cheap, so I couldn't say no. I don't know when I'm going to get to the Lost Swords series. I just read The Broken Lands, which is the first Empire of the East novel by Fred Saberhagen. And I'll post a longer review eventually, but I was just like, just kind of iffy. So I hear good things about the Lost series, so hopefully I can get to them. And then I bought this tome because it was very popular when it came out, and I know very little about it, but I do know that this is a very nice hardcover edition. Let's see. I just recently learned how to figure out that this is a first edition. So that makes me happy. Hardcover first edition. So yeah, that's the science fiction and fantasy stuff I picked up. And I'm just going to dig through the rest right now. I got this awesome edition of The Big Sleep. It's annotated. It's beautiful. I love this book. This was my first dive into noir detective stories, which probably should be since it's like the OG noir detective story. But it's so good. Like, I guess I can't go into it too much. I'm going to make a video. But yeah, in this version, it just has all sorts of great annotations. It's got photos, like really, really immerses you in that era of Los Angeles, which Chandler does such a good job of that anyways. But it's really cool to have the extra stuff in there. And then we've got this, which is funny, a hardcover copy of No Shirt, No Shoes, No Problem by Jeff Foxworthy. I read this book probably when I was like 12. Let me see. A first edition. That's why I picked this up. I had some ratty old paperback, and it's not bad. So I thought I'd add it to the collection. This is like a core memory, which I don't know what that says about me, but yeah, the book's pretty good. You know, it talks about him growing up, just talking about different things, like talk about everything that redneck comedian did back in the day: women, friendship, roommates, marriage. It's just really interesting. He talks about where he grew up and stuff like that. And I really like biographies, especially autobiographies. They're just so fascinating. And we got this little thing, 100 American English Idioms, which normally I don't pick stuff up like this. Well, I do, but I know what American idioms are. I'm an American idiom. But yeah, it's just really cool. And it's fun to dig into and see like which ones are still used, which ones aren't used anymore. This thing was published in 1988. This is the 1988 printing, so we'll see what idioms are still used now, 30 5 years later. Finally, Game Time by Roger Angel. And I picked this up because Roger Angel is like the baseball writer's writer. Like a lot of the baseball writers I read and a lot of the baseball writers I listen to podcasts on, they talk about Roger Angel as their inspiration for writing about baseball. And I can see why. Like, I really enjoy everything I've read from him. It's a very slow burn, though. I really want to give him a chance in an audiobook, like an audio format. I really enjoy the writing, but sometimes it's too much for my dumb monkey brain. And I just kind of get lost or I get bored. And I can tell by his writing style, it would work really, really good in an audio format. There's just some writers that when you're reading them, you're like, this is fantastic as a written word, but it is even better when it is spoken. All right. Well, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.